Welcome to the Birdhouse Dynasty show. And tonight we're brought to you by Choice Sports Cards, your number one choice in buying and selling sports cards. Check out Kyle and the boys over on Whatnot. And for now, we are going to continue this mock draft frenzy week here on the Birdhouse. We've got a bunch of mock drafts lined up for you tonight. Just click on the link over there in the chat and you can join some of the guests here tonight doing some mock drafts. To continue this mock draft week, I've set them up just on Sleeper, so have the Sleeper app ready and you can join us, have some fun, sharpen your mock draft skills, getting ready for your 2024 rookie drafts in your dynasty leagues. Last night we were able to bang out about 5 or 6 of them, and tonight hopefully just as many. See what we can accomplish. So I'm going to bring us in to the mock draft room right away. Let's see what we got here. There we go. All right. Got 4 of us in here. I'll give it a minute. See if we've got any others that want to join in. So it's been quite the week. Got the NBA playoffs going on. Bucks got knocked out earlier tonight. Right now, the Sixers are scratching and clawing for their lives against the Knicks. 4-point game with 4 minutes to go in the half. Exciting stuff this week. Right now, I want to show you a trade from one of my leagues. Let's see here. Boy, what do we got here? I'll bring it up. Yes, we had some rookie fever after the draft in my bottom line league. And let's share this for you. Bring this one up for you guys. All right, right here in my bottom line league. Over on the right, you'll see Lad McConkey went to M. Moore, and he dealt Aaron Rodgers, the 25-second and 26th third over to the People's Champs. And this one is a little interesting. I do like Lad McConkey. He went, I believe it was right near the end of the first, beginning of the second in this draft. Uh, the Aaron Rodgers side presents a lot of value over there. I would say that he probably got a little more value on that side, but I'm going to lean towards the Lad McConkey side on this one. I don't know how much Rodgers has going in the tank. However, the People's Champs is needing a quarterback. Let's take a look at his roster here, what he's got going on. Oh, let's see here. Where can I bring it up? All right, so the People's Champs has got CJ Stroud and Baker and now Aaron Rodgers. So that solidified his QB room. Not bad there. And then for M. Moore, let's see what his quarterback situation looks like now. Oh, where is he? The skeleton crew, yes. He's sitting on A Rich and Drake May and Kyler. So he was more than fine. I like the deal for M. Moore. I like the deal for both sides. I like it more for M. Moore. So that's my analysis. Don't think it was really an overpay, to be honest. All right, let's check out this mock draft room. Get things going here. Right. Bring things back up. There we go. All right, fellas, you ready to get rolling here? Let me make sure. We've got Jay Scal here, got Ramsack Nation, that's Troy, and Break Yourself. That's my boy Anthony, all in the building here. Just want to make sure you guys are all in here before we get fired up. I don't want to have any auto picks if we don't have to. We're going to have a few of them already, it looks like, which is fine. That just helps us get through more mock drafts. So, boys, you ready to go here? Let's see. All right, we're gonna get this started up here. Jay Scal, you back in here yet? Just wait for the green dot, and then we'll get going. All right, we're gonna get started here. Jay Scal, you can join us on the next one if you miss this one. I'm gonna get going here. Troy's waiting there. Okay. I went ahead and took the seventh position in this draft. I like practicing from the middle of the first. Just gives me an idea what things are going on in the middle. We had Caleb go off the board at number one. That's how it's been in the majority of leagues out there. I did have Marvin going at the 101 in a couple leagues. But I would say Caleb's the consensus 101 out there right now. Oh, let's see. Now, I can't argue with taking Caleb. I personally I don't love the guy, but it comes down to, do you believe this guy is going to be the face of the Bears franchise for not just the near future, but for 5+ seasons? Like, is this guy going to end up re-signing in Chicago and taking him to the next level? I've never seen in my lifetime, and that goes back 40+ years. I've never seen a quarterback as the face of the franchise for the Chicago Bears. And so it would be very, very interesting to see a quarterback finally light up the city of Chicago. And Caleb Williams has that chance. It was Justin Fields. He had that chance for the last few years. And of course, they did not extend him. They decided to ship him off to Pittsburgh this offseason before the draft. And now it is Caleb Williams' time in Chicago. All right, Jay Scal didn't make it back in. We'll see. They put you on. If you get in here, just all right. So they had Harrison go on second. Oh, he's back in. All right. Hopefully, you can find a way to get yourself off of auto there. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can change. There you go. All right. So then it went JD, Neighbors, Rome. Of course, one of Caleb's big options there in Chicago, and Drake May. So at this point, I will definitely go JJ McCarthy. So I just love picking at the 5, 6, 7 spots because I see that as one of the most interesting tiers of the first round. I personally have a Dunze, May, and McCarthy in that tier. Now, it could be team dependent as to whether you go with Rome or either McCarthy or May. Personally, I slightly have McCarthy just ahead of May, only because of his the options he's got to throw to. This rookie season, we'll see when both of them first get their snaps. I don't know that either of them necessarily will start the season. The Patriots went out and brought Jacoby Brissett back into town. and the Vikings brought Sam Darnold into the mix. So I could see either Brissett or Darnold both starting at the beginning of the season for their respective teams, but definitely don't think we'll be waiting long for May and McCarthy to get their opportunities. So we got Anthony up here at the 109, and see, Bowers went at the 8 spot. Now, pre-draft, we definitely would have had those guys as, I mean, this was the consensus top 8 right here. Okay. Now, though, I don't know that Bowers fits into that 8 spot. He had a questionable landing spot. Everybody questioned the Raiders for taking Bowers, considering they just took Michael Mayer last season. I don't question it. I understand they were just taking the best player available. I think they got sniped at quarterback there at 13, and so we were left holding the bag and just decided to go. I mean, 6 quarterbacks went ahead of them. I don't think that they were expecting that to happen. Uh, Anthony, to get back in here, just click off the auto pick. Went ahead and gave you Xavier Worthy. Brian Thomas went, and now it's on Ramsack Nation. Ramsack scooped up Bo Nix. He's the one I would say slide into my 108 hole right now, unless I was desperate at wide receiver. Maybe then I'd look at Worthy or Brian Thomas. After that, we had Conkey. Oh, I forgot to switch this to linear. My apologies, guys. That's all right. Just imagine you made trades and you're picking out of those slots now. Next one we do, we'll definitely switch it back to linear. All right, so we had JB in Carolina, Pearsall, Coleman, Penix, and Troy Benson go. So let's see what we've got here available. Looking at so this is a tough spot. I don't love Xavier Legette, but with draft capital and the landing spot is solid. I mean, he's for his hometown team. First round draft capital. He's going to have all the opportunity in the world to take over there in Carolina as the number 1. So I'm going to have to go with Xavier at this pick. I really liked A.D. Mitchell pre-draft, but then with the landing spot, I just don't know what kind of targets he's going to command there with target Michael Pittman, of course, over there in Indy. So we'll see. The Panthers have had a pretty shaky run at choosing wide receivers the last few years. Last year, grabbing Jonathan Mingo. Before that, Terrace Marshall Jr. I mean, both of those guys had 1-year breakouts, and it seems they, for some reason, like that profile because that's exactly what Xavier Legette was as well. So, and there were plenty of options at wide receiver in this year's draft. So they were dead set on Legette. They traded up to make sure they could get him. Could have easily went Keon Coleman or number of other receivers at that spot. All right, we're back on Jay Scal here. Went Harrison and Franklin, first 2 picks. Now we're at the 302. Okay. Now, after Legette, we had A.D. Mitchell, Corum, Polk, Wilson, Franklin, and Corley. So we had a nice little run there of 4 straight wide receivers. Those 4, I honestly could see you taking in any order. Polk, of course, was the first of 2 wide receivers there in New England to team up with new quarterback Drake May. His next option, pardon me, his other option is right there in front of me, and I just love talking about this. This guy's got some dog in him, Javon Baker, and love grabbing this guy. I mean, all things considered equal. Between Polk and Baker, they're very similar. I just assume take the guy you can get later because either of them could end up being the top guy between them. Pop Douglas is there in New England, but he's more of the slot guy over the middle. These two guys are going to each work on the outside for Drake May and the future of the New England Patriots. All right. Break Yourself went with Jermaine Burton, went to the Bengals out of Alabama. This guy, Burton, he had some great peripheral, great numbers pre-draft. He for some reason, being out of Bama, you would have thought that Jermaine Burton would have gotten a little more hype, but I think everybody who scoops this guy up is getting a deal. Honestly, just so much talent at the wide receiver pool this year. It's really hard to guess which one of them is going to just blow up. But I'm guessing out of these guys, after say Keon Coleman, we've had 7 receivers go out of this so far, and I mean, oh, we had Pearsall falling to Troy there. Oh, sorry, he took him. I'm mixed up because it's not going linear. But out of those 7, you can even throw Luke McCaffrey into the mix and make it 8. Out of those 8, I wouldn't be shocked if 2 or 3 of them just has a great rookie season. And we had, after McCaffrey, we had Shipley, Vidal, Dylan Laub, Jacob Cowing. Somebody I really liked pre-draft. Kind of disappointed in the landing spot. Obviously, ahead of Cowing, the Niners grabbed Pearsall the end of the first, who Shanahan was just ecstatic over landing. And then we had the Niners still have Ayuk and Debo. So Cowing, it's hard to see the window of opportunity for him, but if you squint a little, you could see how maybe Debo or Ayuk is out of there before this season. But definitely after next season, I could see Cowing get more opportunities. Definitely a taxi squad stash there for Cowing if you happen to land him in your drafts. All right, Anthony, who you rolling with here? Things get real interesting here in the 4th. I got to say, this year's draft, there's we're just going to go 4 rounds, fellas. And this year's draft class, there are some amazing players, amazing talent left still after 4 rounds of a rookie draft. So if you've got room on your roster, you don't mind picking up any of these undrafted free agents in your leagues either. All right, so Malik Washington, the speedster that went to, of course, the Miami Dolphins, and then Tez Walker helping fill up the Ravens wide receiver room. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah. Spencer Rattler hasn't gone yet. Yeah, I'll scoop him up. So Rattler's a guy who just got the absolute perfect landing spot for him. All right, we're going to stop it right there, fellas, and get another one fired up. Let's go ahead. New one. Okay, back out of here. Get a new one fired up right away. Let's get this link over to you guys. All right, guys, go ahead and there is the link for you. Go ahead and click on that, and you can head on back into the draft room. We'll get right into another one for you, fellas. Let's see here. Gotta change the settings first. Get it to linear setting there. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. I am gonna claim the number 2 hole in this one. Oh, and we've got breaking news here. DJ Chark has just landed in Los Angeles with the Chargers, helping with that wide receiver room for Jim Harbaugh and the boys. So another interesting scoop up for Harbaugh. Right. We're gonna chill here for a minute, wait for a couple more to join on in. See who's jumping in tonight. All right. Well, while we're waiting, just to get back to the quarterbacks there in the first round, when you're looking at, obviously we've got Caleb as the consensus number one and Jaden Daniels as the two. Now, I definitely see the possibility of Jaden Daniels being the best one of the two. Um, but if you're feeling that way, I would definitely be trying to trade back a little to make that happen. Um, the I do prefer the weapons that Caleb is getting started with. Not that Washington's terrible. I mean, it's better than what Drake May is walking into in New England. But just just looking at it, Caleb's been more consistent in college. Had a rough go at it his last year there at USC, but uh, he broke out onto the scene as a freshman at Oklahoma, then won the Heisman at USC in his second year, and then of course his third year was, like I said, a little rough. But um, Jaden Daniels was in school for 6 years and finally broke out. So I'm just saying, between the two, I feel safer with Caleb, but I do understand wanting the electricity of Jaden Daniels. Definitely has more rushing upside than Caleb, uh, but let's see here. See, guys, just click on the link in the chat, and you can go ahead and join the next mock. All right. Um, yeah, going back to the next set of quarterbacks after Caleb and JD, you've got Drake May, McCarthy. You can even throw Bo Nix into there if you want. I would lean McCarthy slightly over May, like I said earlier, um, simply because of the landing spot with good coaching there and the weapons. I mean, you're talking Justin Jefferson. What more can you ask for? Then he still has Addison and Hawkinson there. Uh, Let me go to one of my leagues here. I'm gonna put link into it that way too. See if we can slide it over. There we go. All right. So yeah, moving down, I have McCarthy slightly over May. I can totally understand wanting to take May. I mean, he might not have the greatest weapons to start off with. He's got a lot of veterans there, Pop Douglas, as I mentioned earlier, and then two rookies, Hunter Henry, a tight end. It doesn't look all that exciting, to be honest. But Jalen Polk and Javon Baker both have extreme talent. I mean, Baker started off at Alabama, so you gotta believe that he's got some great talent. Just went over to UCF to get more opportunity there. All right, Anthony, you ready to roll? We're gonna get things going. It's just you and me, man. Here we go. And so Caleb went number 1. I'm going to take Marv at 2. And we had JD and Rome going 4th here. That leaves option for me with Neighbor 5. Haven't quite Neighbors fall or drafts. I mean, I suppose there's some drafts where maybe Drake May would go in the top 4, possibly, but that would be just simply based off of pre-draft hype. So Knicks fell to the 201 there. I'm gonna scoop up Keon Coleman. Keon's landing spot. How can't you? Getting Josh Allen to throw the rock to you for the next 4 seasons at least. Keon's a great deep threat. You go up and get that ball. I see his highest of highs, his ceiling would be Des Bryant. Obviously, his low of lows would be, I mean, his floor would be absolutely the bottom, but that's how it is for every receiver. So I don't know that he'll be Des Bryant, but he's going to get plenty of opportunity. I mean, with Shakir and Curtis Samuel there in Buffalo, we're talking, more underneath guys. So they're just gonna be moving the ball, moving the chains down the field, and then Coleman will be that guy clearing out space for those two. And then Josh Allen has no problem slinging it deep. And so I see great opportunity there for Keon. That's where I favor him over Pearsall. I love Ricky Pearsall's game, but I guess I just got to go with opportunity this one. I mean, I would even argue Keon over Lad McConkey, especially if you've got Josh Allen on your roster. So, but I do understand the appeal of Lad McConkey. I mean, the guy is a true gamer out of Georgia. He didn't put up the huge numbers. I mean, Keon Coleman didn't have amazing numbers either, but that's also because he missed like 3 or 4 games there. But McConkey coming out of Georgia, he just looks the part. Definitely a Jim Harbaugh type guy. And so, I mean, what can you say? Definitely have Brian Thomas and Xavier Worthy as the wide receivers 4 and 5, though. That's for sure. Whichever order you want to go with them. I personally still have Brian Thomas as my wide receiver 4, but if like your roster might have Mahomes on it, definitely wouldn't blame you for stacking it up with XW. All right, so Ben Sinnott just went the tight end 2 off the board for me. Ooh, love a couple of guys here, both at the top, Jalen Wright and Malachi Corley, along with Javon Baker. I'm going to lean Jalen Wright in this one. Just love the talent and the landing spot. Obviously, the Dolphins love speed, and Jalen Wright will have his opportunity. We know that Mostert and A-Chain can't stay healthy, so expect exciting things from Jalen Wright when he gets the rock. All right, so we're next down here. Let's see. Oof, this is a tough one. Yeah, Kimani Vidal and Spencer Rattler. Oh, just gonna go Vidal in this one. All right, Kimani Vidal, another interesting landing spot. You know Harbaugh and Greg Roman are gonna want to pound it, and so Vidal's gonna get every opportunity out of the gate to be the third down back. And all right, we finish this one up. Let's go rip into another one. There we go. Get back, get out of here. And fire up. Okay, another one. We're a half hour in. We've gotten through two here. Come on in and join the fun. We'll do as many as you guys want tonight. All right. Copy the link here, get it out to you guys. Go. There we go. Get it into. Let's do it again there. And there, let me get into one of my other leagues here. There we go. There we go. All right, let's make sure we're all ready to go. Everything is looking good. Okay. And for this one, I think I'm gonna go back near the end of the draft. I don't think yesterday I had the number 10 spot, so we're gonna try that one. I'm gonna go out of there. All right. See who stops in. All right. So far, we've drafted out of the number 7 hole and the 2 hole. Pretty straight out of all my leagues, I only had the 101 in one of them. And I was able to grab Marv. Now, that was a 1 QB league, so the choice was pretty easy. I mean, you could argue neighbors, but I just see Marv as far and away the better prospect. I know the numbers, if you go by like PFF grades and whatnot, they're pretty close. Even neighbors maybe ahead of them, but I just like the consistency of Harrison over Neighbors. Again, he produced all of his years at Ohio State, and Neighbors kind of jumped onto the scene last season. So I don't want to call it a fluke because he was going against SEC competitions, and to have the crazy numbers he put up, that is no fluke. But I just look at, if I had to comp them, I would comp Neighbors to like what Odell was, and that's not just because they are both out of LSU, but the the burst, the playmaking ability, everything there, the flash, it's all there for Neighbors. All right. If you want the flashier guy, grab Neighbors. But Marv is just, and it's funny because he went to Arizona, the Cardinals, that is. Uh, but I just liken him to Larry Fitzgerald. And yeah, obviously Fitzgerald hung around for a long time, and I see Marv doing the same, just like his dad. So there's something to genes, you know. This draft had plenty of it. We didn't just have Harrison. You've got Luke McCaffrey, Frank Gore Jr. So there's plenty of old school mix with this year's draft. So very exciting class to be looking at for dynasty purposes this year. All right. Well, we're gonna run through one more tonight, fellas. Hopefully, come on in and join the fun. So let's talk about. I'm in the 10 spot here, and so ideally, I'll be. That's a great spot for the fourth or fifth wide receiver to land in your lap. Okay, if you were looking wide receiver. Now, if I had the 110, I'd first contemplate, do I want a 25 first for this? See, if I do, then I would look for potential trade partners there. Also, the other option would be to trade back. If you have, say, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, Lad McConkey, even throw Pearsall, Coleman into the mix. If if you see all of those sort of in the same tier together, like you don't have Xavier Worthy and Brian Thomas necessarily ahead of any of those guys, then trade back a little. Go from the 110 all the way down to the 203. Um, we're gonna let me make this a linear draft. Frosties is back tonight. Good to see you, Colin. Thanks for joining. Let's get the settings correct here. We got to make it linear. There we go. All right. We're going to see if we can get anybody more in here. We got just hold up for a minute or two. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So if I've got a late first and I'm looking wide receiver, the potential is there to simply just trade back. I mean, I know that Xavier Worthy got an awesome landing spot, but really thinking about it, how many opportunities is the guy going to get? Is his opportunity share really that much better than Brian Thomas or Lad McConkey or Keon Coleman's? I personally don't think so. So, I mean, just from my perspective, I'd probably be looking at the potential to trade back. Now, if you really need a running back, I see one guy ahead of all the others, and that's Jonathan Brooks. Um, so definitely hang around in that range because that's where you're going to have to draft Jonathan Brooks if you really want him. Okay, I'm just going to rip through one here quick at the 110 and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start 4, 6, 7 go as planned. Bowers and Worthy then at 9. So again, if you really need running back, I'd have no problem taking Jonathan Brooks here because he just represents a much higher talent level and ceiling than Trey Benson, my RB2. Um, Benson, Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, they're all they're all good, decent backs. That's the thing about this draft, though. There aren't any real studs. However, Jonathan Brooks does have the potential there. So I know he had the injury, and we're going to have to wait and see as training camp rolls along to see how early he's actually going to take the field. But once he does, he once he does take the field, he is by far more talented than Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. All right. So especially at this point in Sanders' career. But since I can't trade back, I'm going to just go ahead and take Jonathan Brooks. I've been talking about him, so leave him here. I should have gone Knicks. I forgetting he's the 80 hasn't adjusted it. But I think if you just throw Knicks and Brock Bowers around, that's probably a little more realistic. I don't hate the talent. Bowers has all the talent there. Just think that you can get them a pick or two later. Okay, so now it went through. We had for PT, Ladd, Nix, Coleman, Penix, Pearsall, Benson, Leggett, 80 Mitchell, Blake Corum, and Jalen Polk go. So I am going to let's check this out quick. See the wide receivers. Troy Franklin's super interesting right here. So is Corley. I love Roman Wilson, the football player. I really don't love his fantasy outlook in Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith there. I'm just going to go. This is the point of the draft where you really just want to go ceiling. Once you get to the middle, I would say right around Xavier Leggett, middle there, middle of the second and beyond. Even Troy Benson you could throw in there. Once you get to that point and all the way to the middle of the third, I just look at ceiling. I'm not trying to draft guys at this point in the draft that are going to be like innings eaters on my team, unless it's a start 12 league where you got to be really deep. So I'm going Jalen right here. Marshawn Lloyd's a great running back prospect too, and don't be worried about that landing spot in Green Bay. No, Josh Jacobs is there. Marshawn Lloyd, many had him as their number one running back in this draft. I see him as a perfect replacement for Aaron Jones. His skill set's very similar. Good receiving back. So I think Lloyd's going to get his opportunity right out of the gate. I mean, AJ Dillon's going to be the one that's missing out there in Green Bay. All right, so now we're here at near the end of the third round. So we're looking at the running backs here. And out of these running backs, I would definitely have Vidal on top at wide receiver. We're looking at Jalen McMillan for the Bucks. Yeah, we got somebody right down here that I like. Yeah. Luke McCaffrey. McCaffrey just loves his team. Great contested catch guy. Just learning the position. He's only played receiver for two years. And so, I mean, with those bloodlines there, McCaffrey, his dad played a long time with the Broncos. And of course, his brother's still the fantasy superstar that he is. Okay, once again, this man just keeps falling. When is he going to move up? Spencer Rattler in New Orleans. Love the opportunity for Rattler there. We're going to go 5 rounds here. Let's see what we've got going on down here. Rasheen Ali, love him. Just grabbed him in my Dynasty Land League. Actually, right there. Same. I think I got him at the 505. Very glad to have him fall into my lap. All right, we got a kid that I want here. He's not on the board though. There we go. Tyron Tracy, the Giants. I think he's at least 4th round draft capital. I think I saw him go in the 3rd in one league. Great opportunity. Only has Devin Singletary ahead of him there, so it's wide open. I don't see Tracy as a 3-down monster, but he profiles out similar to Antonio Gibson, and Gibson had plenty of opportunities first couple of seasons in Washington. So maybe Tracy can follow those footsteps. Oh boy, it's getting nasty here. Round 6. Oof. All right, we're gonna end this draft. We fire up one more here and let you go for the evening. All right. Let's get out of here. Do one more. Get my settings correct here. Get linear. Dates. There we go. Get the link back into the stream for you. If anybody out there wants to join, go ahead. I'm gonna just do this for fun, drafting out of another position, and then we'll let you guys go for tonight. Okay, there we go. All right, this time I am going to see. I'm gonna pick out a slot 3. I don't think I've done that before. There we go. All right. Anybody out there want to join? I'll give you about 30 seconds and then we'll get going. Okay. Doing these mock drafts the last couple nights really has helped me visualize where the pockets are. I'd say the first one runs through 107 now, and then you've got 108 through probably 108 through probably 204 would be the next larger tier. You could definitely narrow that down if you wanted to and say that Bo Nix and maybe Bowers 108 and 109. And then you got just this clump of receivers with Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, and Ricky Pearsall right there in the next pocket, as well as Jonathan Brooks. So those would compromise another tier for me. And then, like I just said earlier, you've got from about 205, 206, all the way to the middle of the next round. So about another 10 to 12 guys are all very similar talents. Definitely not alpha type receivers, but more so, good complementary guys. And not saying that none of them couldn't pop and become an alpha. I just see the way they profile along with their landing spots. You have to temper your expectations, guys. All right. All right. We're going to get going here. We'll get out of here. So we're at the 103. And Caleb Harrison can grab. Yeah, I'll grab Daniels this time. Daniels or neighbors, you could go either way there. It's just team dependent. Stuff is top 7, pretty solid. I think this is 7 in all of these drafts. Bowers went 8th in all of these. Now I have it set up. I didn't set it up as tight end premium even. So if you're in a tight end premium league, definitely can see grabbing him at 8. I'll be honest, I'm not afraid of Michael Mayer whatsoever there in Vegas. Quarterback situation's another thing, but um, if Minshew ends up running the show, he did a pretty decent job in Indy last year, so I wouldn't be too worried, honestly. All right, so we got Coleman and either go Penix or Saul here. Hmm. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna go with this. Okay, we're back. And we had, let's see, receivers. We have Leggett, 80, Mitchell, Polk, Roman Wilson, Troy Franklin go. Running backs, as figured, Corum, Wright, and Lloyd. And then the second tight end, Benson. All right. So between Corley and Baker, it's a tough call there. This time I'm just going to go with Corley. You can argue those two back and forth. Again, I love Baker's attitude and just feel for the game. And I think he's going to do well there in New England. Wouldn't be shocked at all if he's the best receiver for the Patriots going into year 2 for him. All right. We're in the 4th round here. Let's go ahead, grab my boy Luke McCaffrey again. It's just too late for McCaffrey. McCaffrey, I've seen gone the second round even, so I wouldn't mind throwing him right up there with Corley and Baker, to be honest. All right, so we're through 4 rounds. Anthony actually just sent me a text. He wants to do one more. Okay, so we'll end this one. And we're gonna back out of here. We'll try one more. We'll squeak one more in here, guys. Okay, let's set it up. Okay. Gotta set it. This linear. 12 teams. Timer will go up to 5 this time. A little time here. Okay. Should be good. There we go. Okay. Let's get the link over to him. And we'll go here. Here we go. Okay. Get Anthony up in here. Dive into the next one. Throw it into my Dynasty Land League here, too. There we go. All right. See if anybody else joins. Okay. Get back in here. One more shot. Let's see here. It's time. What haven't I taken? Right. I am going to try spot 12. Okay. There we go. All right, Anthony, I'll just wait for you. See if anybody else hops in. Jumped in at the 106. All right, let's get rolling here. Okay. All right, Anthony, who do you want? Your choice of quarterback. Mayor McCarthy. Mayor McCarthy. I could be wrong on McCarthy. I mean, they're ever so tight, McCarthy and Drake May, but they both have their warts. McCarthy obviously didn't have to show a whole lot of volume there. Yeah. With being with Michigan the last few seasons there, they steamrolled a lot of opponents. But if you're just looking at his stats, you're not doing him justice. I mean, they figured that if you take out the quarters where McCarthy did not make a pass attempt, you'd have to take 4 or 5 games out of his. So, I mean, he played what, 15 games, 16 games last season. Take 5 games out of that total, and then you put his numbers up against 10 or 11 games instead. His average is pretty darn good per game. So now you look at Drake May, on the other hand, where he came into last season as the pretty much the definitive number 2 quarterback in college behind Caleb Williams. Some even argued him number 1. But then he was pretty much surpassed by Jaden Daniels. Now, Daniels did come out of nowhere and put up some amazing numbers, so I have no problem with him winning the Heisman this past season. And Drake May did all right. He definitely didn't go in the tank. So I just think that Daniels and McCarthy both showed out well this past year. Didn't hurt McCarthy when his old coach gave him a ringing endorsement saying he would have taken him number 1. but obviously that really wasn't the case because, well, I don't know that they could have traded Herbert. I heard that the truth there was that they would have taken a massive dead cap hit, so that really wasn't feasible for the Chargers anyway. But you know, point being, McCarthy did get his stock bumped up. I mean, right after the season, I think he was projected around a second, maybe third rounder, and he jumped all the way up to pick 10. So, I mean, that's skyrocketing value. And none of the quarterbacks did bad. I mean, Spencer Rattler did awesome at the combine, and past couple of seasons at South Carolina, he did everything possible to help his cause once he got uh, benched in Oklahoma and then transferred to South Carolina. He did nothing but work on his game. So I think we have a much more mature Spencer Rattler. He learned a lot bigger playbook being at South Carolina, where they ran more of a pro style offense. And so I think he's ready for the NFL. Now, I don't know that he's ready to play right away. We'll see. In New Orleans, I mean, Derek Carr isn't exactly the franchise. So, I mean, if Rattler is ready to go, I mean, wouldn't shock me, put it that way. I do think that he'll probably sit this first season, though, behind Carr and learn the nuances of the NFL. But I definitely like grabbing Spencer Rattler late if you've got room on your taxi to stash a QB for a season. It's not a strategy that I generally love doing. I like to fill my taxi up with guys that, especially running backs, just to have extra bench spots. Basically, I like to have guys that I could potentially use right away. I mean, the fact is that every year I'm going to have draft picks usually, and so I don't have room to stash guys for 2, 3, 4 seasons. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know. That's just the way I play. I like to churn and burn, and so keep those spots on the bottom of your bench fluid. Don't let them burn a hole in your roster. Put it that way. You know, guys like Xavier and that they're not going to do you good anyway. Okay, back to me. We got Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, and Ed McConkey. I'm going to go. And Coleman and Brooks pretty much chalk. Penix and Pearsall. All right, then we get to the 205. Like I said, this is where that tier break is for me after Pearsall. You get Benson, definitely near the top of that next tier. So don't mind taking Benson. I definitely see him as the back in this now with Arizona and getting a great opportunity to take over for James Conner at some point in the near future. All right, so we had Leggett, Mitchell, Franklin. All right, we're back to this choice again with Jalen Wright. Ooh, yep, going Jalen Wright. I don't know. I just love the speed and the landing spot there for Jalen. Too much to pass on. Okay, back to Anthony. Got great spot in the middle of the third. Plenty of talent still there in this draft. Love these third round picks this year. I mean, the talent that's in the third round this year is usually what kind of talent we have in second rounds of rookie drafts. It's just phenomenal. So see who he decides to roll with. I mean, guys like Braylon Allen sitting there back half of the third round. This is crazy. Okay. Back to me here. And Looking top of the running back, wide receivers. And so we got McCaffrey or Vidal. Vidal or McCaffrey. Really just comes down to a team need. I'm going to lean Vidal here. Later on, I like going, being more running back dart throws. It's just break yourself. Went with Ray Davis there. Isaiah Davis setting. James Thrash going right before me. Love that kid's talent. Great route runner. Every opportunity in the world there in Cleveland. I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore are just completely uninspiring to me. And so I think Thrash actually has a decent opportunity to earn some targets there for the Browns. And yes, I'm trying to pump Tyron Tracy's draft stock here. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop him up because he easily deserves to be at least in the fourth round of our dynasty drafts here. All right. We'll let her rip for a fifth round. Like I said, there's plenty of talent here. So go ahead, Anthony, grab one more guy. And he went back to back, took over the Bills backfield there. Nice job. Gotta love old Frankie Gore's kid coming into the league this year. I'm excited to see what he's got to offer. Okay, let's finish this one off. Yeah, my boy Spencer Rattler still sitting there. As a Bucks fan, I really dislike the Saints, but all of us thought Spencer Rattler. Say that. All right, Anthony, you don't have to pick. We're gonna end this one now. Thank you for joining tonight, by the way. It's been a pleasure. All right. So we're gonna get that out of here, and we're back live. Good to see you, fellas and ladies out there watching. It has been a pleasure. I just want to remind you that you can check me out on Twitter at clemke007_FF. Don't forget to check out Kyle and the boys at Choice Sports Cards, your number one choice for buying and selling sports cards over there on Whatnot. Great deals going on all the time. Check them out. And with that, finally, just want to keep it going. Never stop working out.